Well, what have we got here?
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time. Please, if it is your first time, have a little browse, peruse, see what you see if you like it. See what you see? Yeah, that kind of works. Anyway, this is a video that's kind of a mix of things. There's an unboxing, which is very exciting. Whoa! It's also a mention of an event that's happening very soon that's connected to the box. And there's a couple of other books I'm going to just mention as a kind of a link in a book haul kind of way, because there's a couple of books I've got which I want to talk about. And also I want to talk about my personal book event I'm going to be doing this year, which I have mentioned before, but I realise I haven't said it enough. So I'm going to talk about that. And then I'll probably do a special, I will do a special video in more detail about what I'm going to read once I get just at the cusp of October. So let's start with talking about Dave. Dave, not Dave and Olive Dave from Book Lover, my partner, compadre, good old buddy from the other side of the pond that I do the show with. Not that Dave, but Dave Brzezicki. So Dave Brzezicki is the editor of Occult Detective Magazine. This is the latest issue, a Mythos special, and this is a really good magazine that spurned a very special event last year, and we're doing it again this year, the Occult Detective October event, and it's to highlight this awesome magazine. It's to get people thinking about that kind of fiction, and it's a really cool niche area of detective fiction or horror fiction that doesn't get talked about a lot. So it's a great way of celebrating that. And I'm going to be reading this in October, which is the latest issue. And I'm also going to be carrying on with the Rivers of Blood series. So that's the next one for me, which is number four. I think it's 4. Hold on, I'm now doubting myself. No, 5. Yeah, that's why I was down here. That's book number 5. I've read 4 so far. So that's book number 5, Foxglove Summer. And I would like to get to the next one, The Hanging Tree, as well, if I can. And then I'll be very close to finishing the series. I really like this series. Weirdly, I'd say the first 2 are the best ones so far. The next 2 were fine, but they weren't really good. But we'll see how we get on with Foxglove Summer, which is the next one. This is definitely occult detective fiction, because the main character, Peter Grant, is a wizard who's been trained by somebody else to look into these strange murders and that happen in London. Set in London, which is one of the really cool things about it. But that's what I'm hoping to be reading, as well as that Occult Detective Magazine issue. And probably other things, if I can fit them in, that are going to be suggested on our little Voxer chat. And maybe I can find some things in the library. And I've still got something else that Roy gave me, which I could pick up as well. So that's I know where that is. That's on my 3rd shelf down of my main bookshelf. So I could read that. So that's Occult Detective October, which is coming back this year. I think lots of people liked it last year. So it's a lot of fun to bring it back. And that's all celebrating a magazine that is edited by Dave Brzezicki. So Dave Brzezicki has sent me a box. It's very exciting. He sent me this box. And I'm going to open it up live on the video, and I'll just see what's in it. He did tell me he's going to send me some books. This time there was no warning about what would be in it. So the first box he sent me a little while back, he did ask me if I wanted a few particular books. So I knew there was a few things that were going to be in it. But he sent lots of extra things. It was a very generous box. This is another box, but I have no idea what's going to be in it. So I'm sure this is going to be awesome. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. At the top there, well, there's a bunch of paperbacks here, and there's a massive book here, which is pretty cool. The Best of Modern Horror. 24 tales from the magazine of fantasy and science fiction, edited by Edward Furman and Anne Jordan. That looks awesome. So the authors in here are people like Charles Beaumont, one of my favourites, Stephen King, Brian Aldiss, Robert Bloch, Richard Matheson, Charles Grant, Ron Goulart, who I've mentioned before recently, actually, Lisa Tuttle, Pamela Sargent, loads and loads of really interesting people. So this looks like a really awesome book. So that's really, thank you very much, Dave. That's really exciting. And this fits really well with the other thing I'll be mentioning at the end of the video, which is great. We've got Andre Norton, Yerth Burden, an old door paperback, which is great. I love these old vintage covers. So Andre Norton, I still haven't read anything by Andre Norton, so it's about time I read something by her. And Yerth Burden, I think this, what's this? The world of Zakar was wrecked with I'll start again. The world of Zakar was racked with storms, and life there was hard. Yet two races shared it with no love between them. The Raski were the first people, the Yerth the latecomers. This is the story of Alossa, the Yerth girl who followed the call that every Yerth sensitive must follow when the time came. And this is the story of Stans, the Raski, who had to achieve manhood by blood right against the hated Yerth. So this could be, is this like a Romeo and Juliet thing? This is a novel of a world where ancient injustice had been done and never righted, where brooding evil and age-old vengeance awaited peacemakers, and of two who brought this terror down upon their own heads. It's a new novel. Oh, it's interesting. No, it's probably not a Romeo and Juliet thing. It's a new novel written by, it's written directly for Door by Andre Norton. So yeah, sounds interesting. Yerth Burden. Let me know if you've read that. A Philip Jose Farmer book called Hayden of Ancient Opar. That I know nothing of this. Looks a bit Conan-ish. Or Tarzan-ish, actually. Opar, the Atlantean colony in the heart of Tarzan's Africa. Opar, in the words of Edgar Rice Burroughs, a hidden city of gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks. The starting point of this fabulous novel of 12,000 years past, when Africa had an island sea and a high civilization bloomed along its forgotten shores, when lost empires flew their time-vanished banners and deeds of daring were commonplace. So this is some kind of post Edgar Rice Burroughs Tarzan story, which is interesting. So maybe Michael K. Vaughan. What is wrong with my voice at the moment? Michael K. Vaughan can tell me about this. Maybe tell me what's going on with this one. Philip Jose Farmer. I didn't know Philip Jose Farmer wrote Tarzan stories. We got two Brian Staplefords. That's interesting. I've never read a Brian Stapleford book, and he is a big name in science fiction. So this is interesting. This is a pan science fiction book. The Fenris device. Which looks cool. In every star system, there are examples of the Jovian, Saturnian planet, monstrous gas giant planets ridden with storms and almost impossible to explore. On one of these planets, there lies the wreck of a Galician warship, the vehicle of the oldest spacefaring race in the galaxy. Aboard the wreck is a legendary weapon, the Fenris device, a legend strong enough to attract the masters of the hooded swan in their thirst for knowledge. When the orders came, star pilot Granger could only obey, taking his ship into the inhospitable terrain where no man had ventured before. Sounds interesting. And then this one is The City of the Sun. And this looks really cool again. A Hamlin book. And another one about some sort of ancient city by the looks of it. This looks really cool. So this is like a utopia under threat, I think, by the looks of that one. The City of the Sun. This is awesome, isn't it? Thank you so much, Dave. This Talif Lee book. Wow. Another door book. I love getting these doors. As in DAW, if anyone's thinking, what the hell is he talking about? A door. It's not an erotic door like Dave likes talking about, but just a straight door, DAW. And I'm getting a few of these now, but this is great. I haven't read a Tanith Lee book either, which is crazy. I've read a lot of fantasy, but I've never read a Tanith Lee book. This looks like maybe coming of. I'm reading this very quickly, but it could be. This is just looks really okay. I'll just read it because this is all sorts of things. The lowland girl seemed to contain fire. Her hair stirred, flickered, gushed upward, blowing flame in a wind that did not blow. A tower of light shot up in the sky, beginning where the girl stood. For half a second there was only light, then it took form. The form it took was Anakiah, which is probably that. Look at that. She towered, she soared. Her flesh was a white mountain, her snake's tail a river of fire. Her golden head touched the apex of the sky, and there the sepals of her hair snapped like lightnings. Her eyes were twin suns. The 8 arms outheld as the 2 arms of the girl had been, rested weightlessly on the air, the long fingers subtly moving. The girl standing before the well, unblasted by the entry that she'd released, seemed only quiescent. At last one could see that her face, as it had always been, was the face of Anakiah. Wow. Okay, that's a bit different. Got another paperback here. Another Brian Stableford one, Day of Wrath. So let me know if you've read that one. This is all very exciting. This is like someone that holds the balance between 2 sides of a war. Day of Wrath. And then we've got what's this? Wow. Robert Silverberg's Monsters and Things, edited by Stephen Jones. This is really interesting because I do collect Robert Silverberg stuff. Stories to Turn Your Hair White. What is this? These are all stories by Robert Silverberg by the looks of it, which is great. Yeah, these are all Robert Silverberg, and the packaging's really nice. It's a really nice cover. It's got that sort of old, almost sort of EC kind of feel to it. Monsters and Things. So these have all been collected by Stephen Jones, but they're written by Robert Silverberg by the looks of it. Fantastic. That is so cool. Really nice condition. I don't know if Dave's read this, but yeah, really, really nice. I like this. So yeah, thank you, Dave. And then this one, this is the last one in the box. Hell's Cartographers. Oh, wow. Some personal histories of science fiction writers. This is a book about science fiction. So Robert Silverberg, Alfred Bester, Harry Harrison, Damon Knight, Frederick Pohl, Brian Aldiss. Edited by Aldiss and Harrison. They work together a lot on stuff as editors. So that's really interesting. Hell's Cartographers. This is great. Robert Silverberg, Alfred Bester. Yeah, so I've already said that, haven't I? But these are articles written by these people. Like you've got Alfred Bester, My Affair with Science Fiction. So that looks awesome. Can't wait to read that. So that's really cool. Very special, that one. So thank you so much. So that's the contents of that box. So I really, really appreciate that. Thanks, Dave. Really, really generous of you. And I can't wait. That's so cool. Please look out for this magazine, the Occult Detective Magazine, because the guys that do this, they work really hard to get this really awesome thing together, and they're all sort of full of short stories, and it's a really cool magazine, and you can get it online. I'll put a link in the description below on how to get it online, but it's really worth seeking out. And as I said, one of the editors is Dave Brzezinski. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, 2 other things I want to do in this video. One is to just mention a few other books that I've got recently that, you know, I don't want to do a special video, which is a book haul. And the other thing is just to end talking about my own personal event in October, which will dovetail quite nicely with the Occult Detective thing, probably. It'll work quite well. So, a couple of books. A couple of books that I've got that I have recently purchased that I haven't talked about on the channel yet. So, as part of the ongoing banned books thing, I was quite pleased to see this quite cheap. So, this was a big phenomenon when it came out. It's a quite a short graphic novel that's about a gay relationship, a teenage gay relationship, and this has been banned in America. So I definitely want to look at this. So I'll be looking at this this month probably, and doing a video about it. I might actually combine this with Blankets and something else, because I've already read Blankets, but I'm going to read it again with this banned books event in mind to do a video about a few graphic novels, because Blankets is brilliant. Blankets is absolutely brilliant. Craig Thompson, Blankets, definitely recommend it. But I'll be interested to see what this is like. So I've got this now because I found it down the road, which is cool. And also another thing that I found in a charity shop, which just made me kind of curious, and I'm going to use this for June on the Range next year. It's by Anna North, and it's called Outlawed, and it seems to be a kind of a feminist Western book. So I think it's kind of basically it's set in 1894, and it's like a character that is very strong-willed, strong female character that is a protagonist in this book and clearly kicks ass in it. So I'm gonna forget what it said on the back when I bought it. I'm just gonna read it blind, but I know it's got that sort of feminist touch. So that sounds interesting. And this last bit of this book haul thing, I got these from eBay. So the reason why I got these from eBay was I am getting as many Alan Dean Foster books as I can, and I'm going to try and once I've done some of the other favourite authors of mine, I'm going to try and do a bit of a deep dive on Alan Dean Foster if I can, depending on what I've got. But I've got quite a lot of his already. I've got about 12 books by him, I think, already. But he's done so much, and obviously very famously done lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of novelizations. But they were the first books I read, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and some of his novelizations like The Black Hole and oh god, what else did he write? Well, actually, the original Star Wars book was written by him and credited to George Lucas. So lots of those were the first books I read as a kid. So I got a lot of affection for him. But anyway, I saw these on eBay. It said they were really good condition. I love the covers. I love the fact there were two seemingly companion books. And I've actually got one of them already with a different cover. But I was absolutely thought, oh, this is great. I've got to get this. And I'll tell you what, they've arrived and they are just perfect condition. So it's so cool. So you've got Glory Lane and you've got Quazzle. So I don't know if you can see that very well. They are absolutely fantastic covers. You've got this one with a real wraparound cover. And then you've got Quazzle. It's such a cool cover. Again, wraparound cover. And they just look like a lot of fun. So I'm going to read these soon, I think. I might be able to try and get to these in the New Worlds November event I'll be doing in honour of Scott. Yeah, I was really pleased to get these. Annie Dean Foster, Quazzle and Glory Lane. So you may have seen me mention the Glory Lane, the other copy I've got of that. But I was so pleased to get these. They are so, they feel utterly brand new, but they can't be brand new because they've been out a while. But I love it. I love the feel of it. I was very pleased to get these. Really pleased to have those from eBay. So that's just a really awesome collection of things that I've got. Some lovely gifts there from Dave. A couple of things I've found in the wild and on eBay. So the last, just to finish, let's just talk about spooky shorts. So we're about to go into October, and what I've said before on the channel very briefly, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit more detail now, and I'm going to do a special video on it. And I'll invite anyone to join me on this. After Horror Mayhem this year, some point in June, I did a video where I talked about the fact I wanted to start a kind of a follow-up event, which I'm going to call Spooky Shorts. So Horror Mayhem, I read loads and loads of short stories that were horror-based short stories, and I really enjoyed myself. I thought it was a great Horror Mayhem this year. I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to sort of, as a little nod to Scott, just to kind of remind everybody about Scott and how much we loved him. I wanted to do spooky shorts. So horror or thriller based short stories. I've still got loads to get through in the short story collections I've got. But if you want to join me, just read a few short stories over the month that are horror based, and you give a little nod to Scott and say this is Bouncing Off Horror Mayhem, spooky shorts. It'd be really cool if you joined in. But that's my intention. Spooky shorts, horror based short stories. That's what I'm going to be doing in October. And I'm really excited about it. And later on, I'm going to do a video which gives, sort of says some of the anthologies I've got that I could play with. So there we are, spooky shorts, Occult Detective October. Lots to look forward to. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay curious, everybody.